20 something years ago, I think it was 2002, 2003, I started making an intake manifold. I had the idea of building one from scratch. I wanted to buy one back then, but back then $1,000, I think it was $1,300 someone quoted me. It was quite a bit exy. I'm a bit of a hands-on guy. My old man was a fitter and turner and just got me hooked on the tools, I suppose, from when I was a young kid. I've got photos of when I was pulling engines and motorbikes and cars apart from 5 years old. So I was destined to be going down this path. And I suppose that grew a passion inside of me in terms of, you know, you start getting your driver's license, you start driving. My first car was a Holden V-All Turbo with an RB30 single cam in it. That car copped an absolute beating. That's really what really started all this off. So that whole car, the evolution of that car, when I was, you know, young, had very little funds to play with, so living week to week. One of those things that I did with that car was try and develop my own products, and here I am 20 something years later, going from a sheet metal manifold, which is a chopped up factory manifold with some internal bell mouths, everything welded, handmade, hand pressed, you know, sheet metal cut and chopped and welded all together. What purpose were they trying to serve? To try and meet a budget, to try and be a modification to a car that's as easy as possible to install and then produce results. It's done all of those, but here we are, the evolution of the product itself, and not only the product but also the business where we're going to. So even from the next step was making that whole billet intake manifold back in 2017-ish, maybe even earlier, 2015, when I first bought my first CNC machine, I think it was. So yeah, we're talking 10 years ago now. That full billet manifold came out. I was the first one to make a full billet manifold for pretty much any popular make and model. We're talking 2JZ, RB, JZ in general, SR, 4G, and no one was offering a full billet manifold back then. Looks like everyone's really caught on and really realised the benefits of it. But here we are again. The next evolution is the RB drag manifold, or 2JZ drag manifold. You know, we're talking from supporting the sheet metal manifolds, we're supporting an engine up to, I generally recommend, like 700 to 800 horsepower. Then the billet game kind of stepped up, and so did everyone's builds. Then we started seeing cars that were making 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 horsepower, and we're talking semi kind of street cars. And now we've got talking, you know, all out drag cars which can, you know, throw 3,000 plus horsepower, 100 plus PSI of boost and nitrous, and still hanging in there for the test of time. So a real credit to, I suppose, the product itself and the evolution it's been through from learning all those things in 20 plus years of building intake manifold. So where are we at with the RB sheet metal intake manifold? Who are they for? What are they designed for? What do they do? Pretty much they're a budget kind of entry into an aftermarket modification. We're talking under $1,000 Australian dollars. You're getting a sheet metal intake manifold that's been proven. We're talking flow testing 20 plus years ago, proven day in and day out. You would be insanely surprised of how responsive they make the car. I couldn't believe it, but they continue to do so, and they've been popular for so long, and I still make them for that reason. So they're, again, designed, like I said to you, an entry-level kind of modification. The guy's chasing 400, 500, 600 horsepower plus. That's where you want to be with a sheet metal intake manifold. Still retains really responsive throttle response, good drivability. That's where you want to be, especially with a car like that. The billet manifolds are the next step up. Those are designed, I say, anywhere from like 1,000 horsepower onwards. If you've got a standard intake manifold making 1,000 horsepower and you're trying to make every little bit of power you can for the most bang for buck, you'd be silly using a standard intake manifold. There are so many benefits of using an aftermarket intake manifold. Look, be it mine or anyone else's, I don't really care, but just don't be throwing away horsepower and making your car, making it work more than what it should be for no real reason. You invest in a manifold once and once only for that kind of horsepower range, and you won't look back. Then you've got the drag version. I recommend this for 2,000 plus horsepower for a 6-cylinder that's looking to predominantly go drag racing. Is there any street cars with it? I'd say street in inverted commas. Yes, there are, but those cars run like I said, for example, Pete's R33 goes 660, Rob's R32 goes 624, I think, or something like that. So, you know, that's a different end of the spectrum, and that's why they're kind of dedicated to, it's an all-out manifold. We're talking really different things for your street version style manifold to an all drag one. Different runner design, different injector angles, different plenum volume, different throttle body, different all-round packaging of the product itself. Where this in itself, I don't really care about packaging. I just want to make the best manifold possible to make the most horsepower for the customer. The street one has the fit within its, with the confines of a factory engine bay, and make the most and make it easiest to install. So that's where it kind of we can pretty much see the differences and where they all come about. But again, easiest place to find them, www.cpc.store. I've got them all on there, easy to click on, select your color, select the type of manifold, delivery, international, wherever it might be. Really easy website to go through. Check it out. Where do you go from 3,000 plus horsepower in a 6-cylinder? As you guys might have noticed, I pretty much cater for the import market. That's going to be changing slightly with some offerings over the next 6 months. But in terms of the import market, where will it stop? We don't know. Like we're talking, yeah, the fastest import car goes 554, 264, I think it is. And you know, we're talking that's comparable to door slammer guys or pro mod, whatever you guys want to call it. With V8s, you know, 2 or 3 times the capacity, superchargers, 2 turbos, all that kind of stuff. Where will it stop? I don't know. You don't want it to stop, really. Development means that, you know, the product developing and also customers develop their own engine packages and their whole deals is to really continue to push, and this is how we get better. Do you want it to stop? No. Where's it going to stop? I don't know. But like anything 20 years ago, I wouldn't be thinking I'll be making these, and here I am today. So let's just keep on pushing. Who knows where we're going to end up?